Hey, buddy.
Chris is always trying to plan everything. We're starting this podcast episode. Chris is like, what are we starting with? What are we ending with? We love him, but this plan of ours, this podcast of ours, is way more fluid. But anyways, we'll see where it goes this week. We have a lot of topics. We will discuss the Northwestern game.
Wait,
obviously.
Are we on? Restart, dude. No.
No,
Why?
we're going. What's wrong?
I didn't even know we were on. I was flipping off the camera.
That's
That's okay, man. We're here. We're live. This is how things go. Like, people love this authenticity.
We're starting.
People
We're
love
off the camera.
people
Like,
love
yeah.
authenticity.
Okay,
People,
I'm back.
we're here, man. We're here. People love this. This is raw. This is good. This is
raw.
authentic.
What week is it?
It's not the only raw thing I've had today.
Okay. Explicit episode already within 2 minutes. So a lot of interesting topics from the game. We will hit on that. We'll hit on Michigan's status, latest injury report. Unfortunately, that list seems to keep on growing. We've got an interesting game last night. We'll get to Mite's Hoops Corners. Maybe not the most competitive game against Middle Tennessee. Whatever, it is what it is. Still a victory that's exciting to talk about. And then, I'm getting amped, guys. We are 10 days away from the game. We cannot look past this Maryland game this weekend, so we'll talk about that. But, man, we have so much to talk about. Michigan coming in number 18 in the latest football playoff rankings. So there is just for us to tackle today. I know Chris is a little out of his comfort zone. Things are a little off for him. We've not given him a script. We started the show.
Listen, I don't need a script. I just need a little bit of mapping.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'll follow my heart today.
Yeah, we didn't give him a 10-minute heads up of the podcast starting. But he's got high spirits. He's excited to talk about Michigan football. So, Chris, let's go to you first. I want to give my summary of the game, but I think you have a very accurate summary. You gave a really good kind of report in our WhatsApp chat. I think you talked a lot about Bryce, his performance, kind of a lot of things we wanted to see that we started seeing kind of maybe the first time this year. So why don't you give us a breakdown of what your thoughts are from that game?
Yeah. Bryce Underwood, let's start there since you brought him up. I thought he had an outstanding first couple of quarters into
First
the
half.
third. Yeah, first couple of quarters, maybe into the third quarter. And then it kind of he faced adversity. He faced hardship on the road. And earlier in the year, we would have lost that game given his lack of experience on the road in adversity. But tying our early listeners, Miko said it would be great if we lost at Oklahoma so that we would be prepared for these type of situations. What happened, Bryce was obviously rattled. He went to the sideline and everybody was encouraging him and believed in him, and it got him in a place mentally to be able to go out and make a defining pass of the season. That dart against the sideline. Who was that? To Marsh, I believe. Where it looked like it was going to be 5 yards out of bounds, but it was in an absolute perfect spot. And I think that pass is going to be a memorable moment in the season after we win the Big Ten championship, because without it, we're talking about us losing and being out of all of our goals for the season. He came back. He got focused. At the end, you could see how young he was with his emotion, loving on his family and the fans. People were giving him a hard time. I loved it. That was just raw emotion. So that I really liked him, totally redeeming himself, just like Dom Zavada. I was ripping on him harshly. Those first two missed. They kept saying the All-American. And he just shanked, or it just wasn't close. And then they put him in that position in the end to show why he's the best kicker in America, and he delivered. So it was the story of resiliency, this game was at the first time in Wrigley Field, which was an awesome environment, it seemed like, and an absolutely wild ending. I know Northwestern scored, 2 touchdowns in a matter of a minute or two in the fourth quarter. I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening here? I was, when things are getting serious, you either get off the couch or sit on the edge and get real dialed in. That was the status of affairs in the Keeler household. But yeah, we ultimately prevailed. Andrew Marsh had a coming out party, almost 200 yards, I believe, all freshman records for Michigan, and he did it like it was effortless. It was impressive. So ultimately, the haters will say, yeah, it was Northwestern. Yeah, this was a huge game for them to get a bowl eligibility at home in Chicago. So overall, awesome win. We got to get one more. We'll talk about that later. But very proud of the team and the resiliency.
Love it. Yeah, you mentioned a lot of good stuff. You're right. Really cool venue, interesting ambiance. Minus that wire that was in the camera the entire game. Mita pointed it out. Yeah, the cable. Mita pointed out because I didn't see it when the game started, and then I realized maybe I just missed it. I don't know. And then I realized there's like a gray cable right in the middle of the camera. Like they didn't think about that or couldn't avoid that. That was kind of interesting. And then so I think a lot of other really good points. I like the resilient comment. That's totally true. We'll talk a lot more about that. Zavada, interesting journey he's been on. He was like MVP candidate, American hero last year. Ice cold veins. Something seems to be going on this year, but agreed. After missing that kick, coming back to him and having that confidence, I think it will make the players feel like they're invincible and their coach kind of trusts them no matter what. So that's really powerful. And Mita, I want to hear your thoughts too, because I know commenting on what Chris was calling out, you I think mentioned that a couple times this year that you felt a loss would propel us to some sort of resiliency down the line. We're here now with 2 losses. That was clearly an example of a resilient game. So is it possible that your intuition kind of came true, given what we've seen this past week?
I wouldn't give myself that much credit. But there was definitely resilience, and I don't know, what was it, 5 turnover margin? We had 5 turnovers to their 0.
That's right.
Statistically, I don't know what the statistics of that is, but that's not a game that you typically win.
It's never happened.
Sharon actually had his people look up. They were like, actually, 10 years ago, SMU had a 6 turnover game and won. So that's kind of funny.
6-0 though, because we had 0 turnovers forced. We got shut out.
I'm not sure, but that was just a highlight of Sharon's press conference on Monday, I think.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
You don't win those, and there was also 2 offsides that we had that converted on the 3rd down for Northwestern. So just an overall sloppy performance.
Mm-hmm.
But we won.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing is we pull it out. First half was really exciting. I loved seeing them go out and try to air the ball out, which is exactly what I wanted to see when I was talking about the game last week. I said I wanted to see us do something different than just pound the rock, which I know we can do. But I feel like going into Ohio, we got to be able to do something different. And so I wanted to see that in this game. And we got to see a lot of it in the first 3 quarters, almost to the point where it's like, all right, guys, enough messing around. He's throwing interceptions. Go ahead and start running it now so we can at least just get this win.
Mm-hmm.
But like Chris said, he still had to come up with a clutch throw there on that last drive, get us up into field goal range to ultimately set up that kick to win it. So yeah, despite the turnovers, which I think is a fluke thing, it's a thing about it's still a young team. Right, inexperienced. They're playing in an environment like Wrigley Field where there's a lot of excitement going into that game. it should have been like yards wise. We had 500, 496 to their 245. So we dominated the game. It was really just those mistakes that were killing us. And we still found a way to win it. So that's got to be motivation and confidence for the team. I loved seeing Bryce at the end with the family. Also, during the post game interview, he kind of like walked up to Sharon and just like put his head on Sharon's shoulder, and you just kind of see like he felt bad, he felt guilty for the mistakes, but just like grateful that Sharon is his coach. So it was a cool thing to see. Definitely can't play like that against Ohio, but hopefully we got it all out of our system. Now we have a solid week against Maryland, and then we're on to the big game.
Yeah. Those are all good points. I mean, before I hand it off to Kyle, I wanted to point out, like, in some weird way, part of me feels like maybe this is part of Chip Lindsey's master plan. Like, I don't know if he deserves. I know you deserve the credit for your intuition and kind of what you expected to happen. I don't know if Chip Lindsey deserves the credit 100% yet of like knowing that he wanted to put Bryce in this position of like, hey, let's just get it out of his system. Like, I want him to feel like he can throw, and no matter what happens, like interception, fumble, whatever it is, we can recover from that. And I want that to happen against Northwestern instead of, Maryland or Ohio State. So I don't know if I want to give him that credit, so far. But what I'll say is most attempts, per game the whole season from Bryce, I think it was like 30-something, 32, 33. I, again, agreed how he aired it out the whole game. And I wanted to point out, like, it was just an interesting performance because, yes, we had that resilience. I love how he kind of came back. But it was sort of a tale of two games for Bryce. Like, first half, I feel like when he wasn't getting in his head, smooth performance, a great operating rhythm, everything from his offensive line and receivers, everything seemed to move in a good mechanism. They were on time together. He was having good reads from the safety coming down on that RPO. He was just seeing the field clearly. And then something switched. Something happened in the end of the game. And I don't know if it's a mental thing or what it was, but you could see he wasn't reading the safety. He was just not getting – he was having terrible handoffs to Marshall and Kuzdal and like literally missing the handoffs, something he'd never done all year. So something was getting him rattled. And – so in that respect, I'll say tale of two games. But again, part of me wants to put that on Chip Lindsey because we knew as a freshman quarterback, you're going to get rattled. Like, you're going to get rattled at Ohio State. You're going to get rattled at Wrigley Field, Wrigley Classic. I don't know, whatever it was called, like the first ever Wolverine Wildcat Classic.
Wildcat Classic.
So we knew that was going to happen. And if we're going to have that happen, we'd rather it happen against a team like Northwestern. So, yeah, that was my thought. There's a lot more to talk about that. I want to pass it on to Kyle. Give us your thoughts. How did the game go in your perspective? If you want to throw in your dude of the week now, go for it. I'm curious to hear what you have to say because I think you and I shared a lot of similarities in our commentary on the game, and we'll talk more about that. But I took some issues with how Sharon was calling the game. I took some issue with some of the play calling, let's call it, towards the end of the game. What are your thoughts? What's your analysis on that game?
Yeah, not a lot extra that you guys haven't already covered. One thing I want to say is it's a little concerning that we came out of a bye and we were this sloppy. And it was, it was a Michigan crowd of the smallest crowd we'll play in front of probably ever. It was a silly game, very forgettable. Shouldn't have played like that. Came away with it in the end. Dom Zavada missed that first one. Very uncharacteristic. I think it is because the announcers were gassing him up. We got to ban that. No more announcer gassing. I'm sick of it. The 60-yarder, that was just a little to the right.
Yeah, had the length, had the distance.
Uh-huh. And
That's what she said.
play calling was as ever, just a little like a lot of motion, not a lot of substance. Just not. Well, no, it was the turnovers that were the problem. We moved down the field fine. There was the one end around reverse that I had some issue with. If you're that close, I just like getting under center, moving the ball forward. Due to the week, Andrew Marsh had a great game. Had that spectacular catch. That was an NFL catch. Both toes in.
Love it.
Can I add something to that? On that topic, I think one of the best things that happened this weekend is Samaj Morgan getting benched at the end of the game. I mean, how many freaking errors was he gifted until he was finally benched? For Andrew Marsh to return punts now, that's big stuff when your ace receiver's returning punts. That means he's a team player. So I was very excited.
Samaj has finally gotten the demotion. Sharon mentioned that, they trusted him all season, just wasn't working. Do want to point out that this past weekend, the Samaj Morgan Foundation handed out 2,000 turkeys, 2,000 meal kits, 500 hot meals to the greater Ypsilanti Ann Arbor area.
Beautiful. Rest in peace.
That's awesome. Did they fumble some of the hot meals too?
I love his.
They might have fumbled some of the hot meals, but he's still a Michigan man. That's what I was about.
Yes, we love Samaj.
I love Samaj. Don't love his on-field ability at the punt returning position, but everything else I love about Samaj. He's a great person.
Can you imagine Samaj was the guy outside of the truck? The first guy that they threw the turkey to.
Samaj, quit dropping them turkeys. They're slippery, man.
That's slippery. 10 turkeys you've dropped this morning, Samaj.
Imagine seeing this huge Michigan Wolverines spectacular turkey giving, and then Samaj Morgan walks out.
I'm getting a turkey.
I hate to pick on him, but I also kudos to us. Let's clap for our Hale team right here, because we've been calling this all season. We got to remove this guy. He's not doing his job. He's not getting he's fumbling every opportunity, and so they finally did it. I think a little late in the game, like you said, Chris, but they did it. I'll call out another thing pretty interesting, because this for me, yes, we won, right? It's a victory. Let's move on. I'm happy about it. In fact, I actually think we played a really good game. We had a terrible fourth quarter. Okay, we had a fumble. We had a turnover on downs because of the missed handoff from Bryce. We had an interception, but we were up 12 points. We were up 21-9. 10 minutes left in the game, something like that. So we were dominating to some degree until the fourth quarter came. So I think we played well, but I had an issue with coaching. I really did. I'll say the coaching number one, when Bryce was making all these throws to Marsh, McCauley, he was in scheme, in rhythm, and enter the fourth quarter. We had a turnover on downs. We threw an interception. So you see Bryce is a bit rattled. It was like a long third down. I forget exactly what play it was, but we have a major pass play called. And who's our number one primary receiver on that play? Samaj Morgan, who was just previously, the possession before, removed from his post of catching the ball on special teams. It's a very strange operating rhythm. You just removed a player from his position. He's not caught a ball all year, and you're going to him as a primary receiver on a very important play call. I think that sometimes the coaches don't think about that stuff. There is an emotional part of this game. There is a mental part of this game. It's not just X's and O's. And I think our team's got to be better at that. I think Chip and Sharon have got to be better at okay, where are my players' heads at? And if someone's on a hot streak, it's just like basketball, right, Mita? Someone's been making threes all game. You go to him, even if he's not your best player. You go to him at the end of the game because he's feeling it. He's got the mojo. And I feel like we got to do a better job of that. That's point number one. Point number two is, Man, and we talked a lot about this in our group chat, but man, I get so frustrated, maybe too frustrated, but I get really frustrated at Sharon. In my opinion, and this has happened all season long, he has misused his timeouts. Like, his game management is just so poor. And sophomore coach, I'm a couch coach, whatever it's called, Monday morning coach. So I get that, but end of the first half, there was like a minute and a half left on the clock, and we are a 2-touchdown favorite, I think, in the game. We're not getting the ball back second half, and he's just letting the clock run, and it's on their end of the field, and it's third down, so they're going to attempt a pass play, and we have 2-3 timeouts in our pocket, and not calling timeouts and letting that clock run down is so non-aggressive. It's so passive. It really frustrates me. And then flip side, end of the game, we are running down on time. The game is running down. We have the ball. We're down 1 point. We're on northwestern side of the field. They only have, I think they either have one timeout or no timeouts. And Sharon is calling a timeout with like 50 seconds left in the game, a minute and 10 seconds left in the game. Like, there's no reason to do that, because if you're calling a timeout and you make the field goal, you're giving Northwestern a chance to get back in the game. So I really didn't like those two aspects of our play calling and coaching. And I'll leave it at that. I want to hear what you guys have to say, but we have got to get better on that end of the football too.
Yeah, I think he's just like not using his timeouts right. I think there was also a Northwestern punt where he should have called a timeout to stop the clock, and he didn't. I don't know, just like get him playing some Madden. That'll teach you.
Yeah,
something.
Asking Meta instead of asking ChatGPT or asking Google what to do. I think he's just using the wrong AI source on his timeout usage.
I don't know.
That could be it. It's got to use Gemini.
Yeah, great company. Yeah. We were joking that I was hoping after each game he calls Harbaugh and like, hey, what do you think? Maybe, I bet you Harbaugh's probably texting him already. I hope that he is a good mentor in that case, because I feel like that is pretty basic when it comes to like coaching strategy. This isn't like rocket science. This is not super advanced stuff. It's like, hey, you have the ball, you're in make it no matter what field goal territory. There's no reason for you to have time on the clock. Like, there's absolutely no reason. So I don't know. I just hope he has that mentorship, because I feel right now what's happening is we don't have that. And you see it in our special teams. Finally, like, it took 9-10 games to be like, our punt returner sucks. You're like, we got to make a change.
Yeah, I think we made all the correct punt return choices, like whether to field it or whether to let it bounce in this game. But regardless, each time I was like, oh my god, no, wait, don't do. Oh wait, you did the right thing. Okay, good. It's just not. Defense. It's not sustainable. Even when Samaj was out, I was just like trepidous.
In Samaj's defense and the coach's defense, he obviously is a very special, agile, fast person if he gets the ball in his possession. I'm partially kidding on how much he's cost us points, but the only way he could be utilized is on like a jet sweep, because he doesn't have to actually catch the ball. He's getting it handed off. So I can see why.
I could see there being issues even with that.
Yeah, it's just like we've given him every opportunity. So I see the talent, but he's just not ready for the occasion, and maybe that'll change one day. Is he a junior or is he a senior now?
I don't know. I hope he's a senior.
He can graduate and be a nonprofit leader in the world. Was what I hoped for him. But yeah, I don't, and we're not to next week yet. I just don't see us throwing the ball at all next week. Like, at all. It might be one of those Penn State repeats of just pound the rock 40 times in a row, keep everybody healthy, and get us to Ohio State. That's what I anticipate.
You mean Maryland next week? Like this week?
Or this next game. Yes, correct. Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a really interesting prediction. I want to hear what Mita has to say, but I mean, this is something we've been talking about the whole season. This RPO, like, let's forget the last quarter of the game. This RPO, in my mind, worked exactly how I envisioned, how it should. Like, it was the most successful passing scheme we've had all year. Like, I really enjoyed. We had 3 layers, right? You have Bryce running. Bryce could hand it off, or now he's got his. It's really 4 layers. It's Bryce. Either Bryce is running, he's giving it to his running back, or he's going to tight end or wide receiver. I mean, he's got so many options. And we had great play out of Tonelli, Marshall, the tight end. So I don't know about that, Chris. I want to pick Mita's brain because that RPO is really how I think we're going to win these next games.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like we got Maryland. What are they? 1-6 in the conference. Like, not an outstanding team. I think this is still an opportunity to run some of those plays that we aren't very good at yet and still have the ability to recover from mistakes and end up just, maybe running the ball in the fourth quarter just to close out the game. I think these are the kind of games where you have to practice those. Like, you can do it in practice 100 times, but until you try it in a game, it's not the same thing. So keep doing the RPOs, keep doing these things that are really going to be, I think, our only chance to beat Ohio. We have to do something different than just pound the rock. And so I think they're going to keep doing what they did last week and just hopefully have less turnovers, less mistakes. But I think they're gonna pass and only resort to running the rock if they really need to. On top of which, Marshall, I don't know if he's playing or not. He's still recovering. They may not want to run it as much with him not in there in the third string and fourth string. So I think they will pass it.
Question. What happens if Bryce Underwood gets hurt this week?
Oh, bad juju.
The Davis Warren show.
What would be the benefit of us giving film to Ohio State of things we could potentially be really good at that haven't done yet? Is there a benefit to it, and is there a benefit to him getting injured?
The benefit is to get practice doing it. The risk is that something bad happens. But, that is a risk that you have to be willing, in my mind, you have to be willing to play football with that risk.
I'm with you, but if we don't have Bryce Underwood, we have zero shot against Ohio State next weekend. That's my
agree. If we don't have our whole offensive line, we've got no shot. I mean, it's like, how far do you take that argument?
We haven't had a whole offensive line all season. We've played.
Yeah, but we beat them without a quarterback last year, so there's always a chance.
Hey, Davis Warren beat them last year. He can do it again this year if he has to.
Do you guys know who
comes in
quarterback is?
When Mita comes in with the optimism, that's Chris. That's how you know it's opposite day.
No, I'm saying, who is our quarterback behind Bryce Underwood? I'm legitimately asking.
Who is it? Jaden Davis?
Jaden Davis.
No, it's Davis Warren, I think.
Is it really? No.
Yeah.
Jaden Davis is great.
I think Sharon said it was Davis Warren.
I just want to protect him this 1 week. We've had all season to figure out the passing.
Jaden Davis.
Just go ahead and keep practicing it, and then expose Ohio State so they think we're just going to run it up their throat again, and just be prepared to destroy them with crossing routes and what have you.
I love you, Chris. I hear you guys. I respect you, but I wholeheartly disagree. I think it needs to be the exact opposite.
And that's why we have a podcast show.
That's why we're doing this. Yes, obviously my concerns thing happens. If we have a comfortable lead, if we're in a position where victory is, 90 percentile, then okay, take him out. Totally fine with that. But we have not seen Bryce really challenge himself this year. Last game was the most amount of attempts he's had. We have been a pound the rock kind of team. So I would like to see Bryce get some more gameplay exposure at a slight risk of something happening. Now, that being said, do I want him to run and go wild on RPOs and try to get a first down and jump instead of slide, which, by the way, I hate that he does. I don't understand why he doesn't slide and why the coaching staff don't force him to do that. Like, absolutely not. But I do think he needs to get some of that, not rust, but like freshman wrinkle off him, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you got to let the tiger out of the china cabinet.
Yeah, that's
Right.
The lion.
Yeah, I
You
mean, it's
cannot.
Maryland. Let the boy run. Tell him protect your head, protect the ball. Everything else,
Why?
just go for it.
Okay,
He did have that one
to
mistake on the
reiterate,
RPO. I do want to. So we could have.
if we win out, we're going to the Big Ten championship if Oregon wins this weekend.
It's a weird thing with Oregon and USC. I can't quite figure it out.
I did some more digging this week. If we want Oregon to beat USC, and then it'll come down to strength of schedule, and it sounds like Michigan will have a higher strength of schedule over Oregon in a tiebreaker situation. All signs would point to Michigan IU if we won out and Oregon won.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. We'll get to it kind of in the end of our segment.
Yeah, no, that's where just my thought is like,
yeah,
what is the point of emptying the kitchen sink against freaking Maryland when we have Ohio State coming up?
No, listen, no one's talking about emptying the kitchen sink. We're talking about increasing Bryce's exposure to plays that may need additional practice prior to being on the biggest stage of his life. Knowing that there's a slight risk that comes with that, but hey, welcome to football. Okay. You can't fully eliminate that risk. Just like, let's talk about injuries now. We cannot eliminate the risk to our two biggest running backs, arguably one of the best running backs in college football, and Justice Haynes, who is officially out now for the season. Which is obviously a sad story. It's a huge game changer for us coming to this week and next week. Knowing that he's out, there's a possibility of him returning. It sounds like to the postseason, if that's in the cards for us. But missing him is a big deal. And then Marshall going down with. By the way, did you guys catch this in the game? The commentators analyzing that Marshall may have a AC joint issue. I thought that was very questionable. The commentators trying to guess what Marshall's injury was, because that's a very serious injury. Someone would be out for months for something like that. But it thankfully looks like it's okay. The x-rays passed. It sounds like just a bit of pain. So Marshall, ideally, if not this week, he's coming back definitely against Ohio State, it sounds like, which is exciting. But, we can't seem to exit this injury bug. We're finally getting healthy in the offensive line. Our tight ends are coming back. Our defense is getting healthy. But just when you feel like you're getting healthy, your number one running back is out. Your number two running back is out. It's nice to see Kuzdal jump in and, string number three. I'm a little surprised Jasper didn't jump in. Maybe he will this week and the next week. But what are your guys' thoughts on kind of getting healthy, seeing Marshall hopefully come back, and just kind of sustaining that the next few weeks?
Well, let me just pose this one question to Chris. If you were quarterback at the University of Michigan and you were going into this game this weekend, knowing you have Ohio State the following, would you rather just hand the ball off the entire game, play it safe, or would you rather get some reps in and get your confidence up and maybe even blow out Maryland and go into Ohio feeling super, super pumped and confident? Even if it meant maybe risking an injury.
I am such a Michigan lover that I would do whatever I think would put us in the best position to beat Ohio State. And that includes sacrificing one of my limbs on a fence, which we can get into next week. But I couldn't care less about my rhythm. If I was confident at this point, I would be if I'm a freshman quarterback at the University of Michigan and I still have my job this late in the season, I'm confident in my ability, and I don't need to show off against Maryland to be ready for Ohio State. And I would do whatever coach tells me to do. And that's a lot. And if I wasn't playing at University of Michigan, if I was at like Michigan State or wherever, I'd say F the team. I'm ready to ball. Feed me. But I think that's what I would say. Not that it matters at all. it doesn't matter at all what I have to say because I'm not the quarterback, but that's what I would do.
Well, I think in general, like to answer John's question, if you think about injuries, like injuries are just going to be a part of the sport. I don't think you can really just like play it safe on purpose. Like just go out there with a game plan, execute, whatever happens. Like Bryce could trip down the stairs tomorrow and
What
get
if we get
injured,
into
right?
a situation where Bryce goes haywire and loses his mind again and starts throwing picks against a tenacious Maryland defense? That's all they have is turnovers, is from what I've heard. So God forbid we get behind on the road, and now we're on the ropes and have all of our goals from the season on the ropes against freaking Maryland.
I'm so shocked hearing this coming out of your mouth, Chris.
It's so
anti-Chris of identifying the worst case opportunity.
I'm telling. This is.
It could happen.
Because
it could happen.
The Big Ten championship is tangible. It's in our grasp.
So let's go grab it. Let's go grab it.
Injuries. We're decimated with having only the youngest team in the Big Ten, and we could go win the Big Ten still. I don't understand.
I think I've rubbed off on Chris.
This
is the same guy that was saying. You said earlier in the season that we were being too protective of Bryce, and we have a 5-star quarterback, and we're keeping him in the china cabinet.
Week till the game where all of it is going to be, you got to let Bryce do his thing.
But the game means nothing if we lose the game against Maryland.
That's all I'm saying is we could run the ball 100 times and beat Maryland and not call. We could do inside zone 100 times and beat them.
Yeah, but then the game against Ohio State means nothing if Bryce isn't ready for it.
He's ready. I believe it. I'm not concerned about Bryce. I'm
concerned. He just threw 2 picks, had terrible handoffs at the end of a game against Northwestern.
What do they do if they shut down Bryce? That's all they're going to be planning for. Because if we have Marshall and Haynes missing, we're going to put the game in the hands
of If Maryland shuts down Bryce, then they beat us.
I'm talking about Ohio State. They're
better than us.
No, I'm talking about Ohio State. We
lose the game.
Everybody outside of Bryce ready for that game. That's where I'm coming from. Is we got to give everybody else the reps this week. So I believe in Bryce more than anybody on our team at this point.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
You might be right. Like I agree that we need Kuzdal. Listen, we're basically running. We've not. I'm as shocked as anyone. I called this dude a dark horse. I'm still on this guy. You guys don't realize he had maybe only a few carries on the year, but I love the way Jasper runs. Like he's gonna come out. I'm telling you. Kuzdal right now, we're in string 3 and string 4 for our running back. So for sure, we need to get these guys more experience. I agree with that. And we will do that. There's no doubt we're going to do that. But man, there's just something itching within me. You cannot have Bryce end the game against Northwestern like that and then enter Ohio State with super high confidence. Like he needs to get his mojo. And I'm not gonna be shocked if we throw the ball 30 plus times. Like, will Bryce make all of them? Probably not. Will he make some mistakes? Probably. But to get Bryce at least comfortable running the offense that way, that's what we need to do, especially if Marshall and Haynes are out.
Kyle, what are you thinking over there?
In terms of Maryland or Ohio State?
In terms of playing it safe this weekend.
I think we need to. I agree with John. I think we need to let Bryce ball, get his confidence up. Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall are like A and A plus kind of running backs. They're really good. It's hard to replace them. Cudsdale and Jasper Parker are good. Maybe they're B's though. It's just you're gonna have to shift some of the workload over to Bryce for this game while Marshall gets healthy for Ohio State, and that's gonna involve running them a little more, maybe doing those RPOs. I was mentioning earlier, Bryce misread one of those RPOs against Northwestern, threw the pick right to the safety. Get more reps of that stuff in. Say hey, read the safety. Just get more. I think we can. Yeah. I think we can afford to be a little dangerous with Maryland. They're not very good outside of the month of September. They got all 4 of their wins right away, and now they're sitting on them. And keep my one concern is keep the defense off the field so that the defense stays healthy.
Yeah.
Dominate the time of possession if we can.
Yeah. We got to keep our defense healthy. That's one of the major concerns. We had a lot of return from injury earlier in the year. I just don't want to see our defense like we were week 2, week 3, week 4. And, we had some big games early in the year. I do want to talk about some of the other big matchups we saw in college football last week, also some of the anticipated ones this week. Chris is really our go-to guy in this sense because you've done some of that work for how the Big Ten might play out. But last week, we had so many opportunities to climb up the board. We were 18 going into last week. We're 18 this week. We haven't moved. But I was pumped because if you look at last week, guys, if you look at the pick'em, especially that we had Notre Dame against Pittsburgh, it was number 9, number 22, number 9 wins. We had number 11 Oklahoma, who was our show opponent, loss against number 4 Alabama. Oklahoma wins. Number 17 USC right ahead of us against number 21 Iowa. USC wins. So there's a lot of these teams right ahead of us who had the opportunity to lose, and we needed them to lose. And if they would have lost, we would have gone up, we would have been maybe 15-14 in the country, and that hasn't happened. So I want to hear Chris's play out of what's going to happen, this week, next week, and how the Big Ten may flesh out. Because you mentioned we have the USC-Oregon game this week. USC is 15. They're right ahead of us, a couple spots. Oregon, number 7. Oregon is 9-1. USC's got 2 losses. If USC loses, in my mind, they're out because they got 3 losses. So the question really is going to come down to us against Oregon, and I want to see how that's going to play out. But agreed, if we beat Maryland, we beat Ohio State, USC loses, a couple other things happen. I mean, we're in the college football playoff. I'm not concerned about that. It's just I want to see some of these teams lose that are ahead of us because, guys, right now, as it stands today, we are not in the college football playoff.
Well, and I think there's a situation where we still win these next 2 games and don't make it.
If USC beats Oregon this weekend, we're going to have a hard time making it if we beat Ohio State. It'll come down to tiebreakers and strength of schedule stuff that it's going to be hard because of our loss against them. It's not impossible, but it's much more unlikely than if USC loses to Oregon, as there should, and we win out. All signs point to Michigan, Indiana in the Big Ten championship. So, regardless, if we win both games, we're going to the playoff. It's just a matter of if we're going to be in the Big Ten championship or not, and we need Oregon to win this weekend if we want that. In all likelihood, as far as us moving up in the rankings on a national scale in the college football playoff, I'm looking at the schedule this weekend. It looks like all the SEC teams are playing
it's the SoCon Challenge week for the SEC.
Right. It's their JV week. So none of the big SEC teams are fall. The only marquee matchup is Missouri at Oklahoma. Oklahoma should win.
That'll be a slugger. Hey, that'll be an ugly game no matter what, I think. It's just Mateer every game. It's like watching a bowling ball.
He's good, man. They're going to be tough to beat in the playoff. I don't see them losing. So now we look at Miami at Virginia Tech, number 13 at the new home of James Franklin. They're not going to beat Miami in his first game. Charlotte, Georgia, Eastern Illinois, Alabama. Yeah, that's not happening. Syracuse at Notre Dame. Earlier in the year, I'd have said that would be a good game. Now, not so much. Vanderbilt, Kentucky could be a good game.
Ew, I don't want to watch that.
No, right. The one I'm pissed off that's still ahead of us is Texas. They have 3 losses now, right? That's I feel like that's Manning favoritism. They're not a very good team. But there's not going to be too much movement this week ahead of us. It's all going to come down if we beat Ohio State. If we beat them, we deserve to be in it. If we don't, we don't deserve to be in it.
True. Yeah, I mean, I hope the committee's favorable to us. It is true that, yes, Ohio State's obviously ranked. Are they number one? I think they're number one.
Yep.
Indiana's number two. So like the issue that I'm having right now is, let's say we don't make it to the Big Ten championship, and even though we still beat Ohio State, like, yes, that's an amazing win, but that is really like our only like super strong win on the season. So that's gonna, if no one else loses and some other teams in top 25 have some great wins, that's gonna have to move us up 6+ spots. Assuming we don't go to the Big Ten championship. So I don't know.
I will say one thing on that is that Michigan always gets the benefit of the doubt over other teams because of the money we spend. Yes, correct. Because of the money we spend on going to these events. They give us the benefit of the doubt and the viewership. So that is one thing we have as Michigan, is a little bit of an advantage at an at-large situation.
Yeah, people don't like to hear that, but that's true for any big school, really.
Yeah. Yep. It's going to draw ratings and money. Of course, we're going to get that. Yep. So if we win these two games, we are in. Just a matter if we're going to be playing for Big Ten championship or not.
Yeah. That reminds me, don't forget to submit your picks. We got a really interesting pick in this week. Less SEC-based matchups, like you kind of called out, Chris, but some pretty good ones. That Oregon USC is going to be interesting, and also going to be interesting how highly you guys rank some of these. That's always, for me, I feel kind of confident in who I think is going to win, but how high do I rank them? That's always a question mark for me. Chris, do you have a freak nasty pick? There are some potential upsets this week. I think there's some good games. There's some very interesting non-ranked versus ranked teams. Do you have something prepared for us?
I do. I gave the schedule a glance. I was choosing between two of them. The close second was Pitt at Georgia Tech, number 16 versus unranked. That'll be a good matchup. But for freak nasty, I'm going BYU at Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati upsets them at home. Yeah, not so fast, my friend, as Lee Corso would say.
Big Scott Satterfield lover over there.
Humongous Scott Satterfield fan. Yep. Couldn't be more of a Scott. Is he the coach for Cincy?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
So yeah, that's my pick for Freak Nasty this week.
You love those Ohio teams, Chris, don't you?
Yeah.
People in Cincinnati don't view themselves like Ohio.
They're some kind of sick Kentucky kind of people.
Yeah, they're
Kentucky Ohioans.
Like,
they don't have the loyalty to the state like all other people. We'll call people.
Chris turning into an Ohio fan right before our eyes. Great picks, Chris. I'm really excited about. This may not affect us as much as SMU Louisville. Similar records. Really excited to see that game go on. I don't know about you guys. I'm definitely going to be watching the Oregon USC game. So cool. Great picks. We got Dude of the Week. We got our Freak Nasty pick. Let's move on to Mite. Let's talk some hoops. Let's get Mite's Hoops Corner.
Oh, man.
Huge victory over MTSU yesterday.
Hoopity hoops.
Give us a breakdown of the game and how Michigan basketball is doing.
Well, I think so. We've had two games since the last podcast. The last podcast.
What just happened?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Give us the stats.
So we had TCU, right? That was the game just after the last one, and that was closer than it should have been. Admittedly, we won that one by 4 points, but it was the story of turnovers again. I don't know what was going on with Michigan and turnovers this past week. Should have been a blowout. Had I think 19 turnovers or some crazy number. But I think that's just the team still new, playing together for the first time, kind of getting used to each other. So we're able to sneak a win out there. And then, last night we played Middle Tennessee, Blue Raiders, and we finally got that, I guess, blowout win that we've all been expecting to see in these first few games where the competition's not not too good. So we won by 25 points, and Yax finally had a good game. He had 25 points, 12 rebounds. Again, he led college basketball in double doubles last year, so he's starting to turn it up. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out how good we are here in this coming week. There's a tourney over in Vegas where we have one game. Who's the first game against? First game is against San Diego State, but then we've got Auburn. They're ranked 22nd, so that'll be the first ranked matchup of the season, and we're gonna find out. I think we're gonna find out how good we actually are. We really got to. We got to minimize the turnovers. We got to stop making mistakes, killing ourselves. And I also don't know, like, we're so inconsistent with the 3-point shooting. Like, one game we're on, one game everyone's just completely off. So I'm a little bit worried about that. I thought we were a little bit better in the 3-point department, and that's just huge in college. So more to come. It's still early, but we'll see.
It's huge for our scheme too, right? I mean, we really rely on it. I'm curious what your thoughts are, because we were texting in our group chat, I think earlier this week, about like Michigan not finding the rhythm on offense. It seemed like we were just kind of playing street ball. Like we didn't have any schemes. We didn't have any organization. Do you feel like that's improved a bit yesterday, or how do you feel like we've progressed on that?
Yeah, it just feels like when we start getting into close games, especially when the defense is like TCU was playing really good defense. They were all up in our grill. They were double teaming anytime the ball got in the post, and we like did not know what to do with that. And so the guys just start playing street ball. They start trying to drive it into the paint against, multiple defenders. You got Roddy Gale, and they start throwing the ball away out of bounds. So I think we just, when it gets to those situations where it's a really good defense, we just got to like slow down, run a scheme, run an offense, try to get the ball down to the 7'3" Mara, and then if that doesn't work, kick it out, like shoot the open three. We just gotta like stay patient. And I think that's been our struggle so far, is we just like get too excited and start playing street ball and then turn the ball over. It did look better last night, but yeah, that was, Middle Tennessee State. So the defense wasn't super intense like it was against TCU.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Go ahead. Be interesting to see how we progress, because I think, I don't know, I watched a little of the game last night. I'll be honest, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I enjoyed how we brought in the backups. It felt like again, it's Middle Tennessee, so we're not talking about a huge matchup, but I felt like our backups were really strong, which is, it's so interesting, like for me when I think about basketball, because you have a starting five, you think about your starting lineup, and you can have an amazing starting lineup, which I feel like we do, especially with like 7'5" Mara. But I think it's one of these unsung things about basketball in my mind, where the backups are actually not more important than the starters, but they're extremely important, because the backups are going to come in, they're going to give you time off the bench, and the strength, the energy, the height, the productiveness that they give you, for me, is very momentum changing, right? If you bring in your bench, let's say you're ahead because your starting lineup, you got a +5, +10 point differential, and then your bench players come in, and now you've squeezed that differential down to 0, and then you have to bring your starting lineup back in. You feel like you're playing this catch-up game all the time. So where we can bring in our backup players or bench players and keep that differential and keep that spread and keep that skill. Again, this is against MTSU, maybe not the best team in the country. It gives you a lot of positive energy and momentum as a basketball team, I feel.
Yeah. Can I make one comment?
Yeah.
Just one.
Just one.
I'm just making one comment. Dusty May looks outstandingly handsome in green.
In green?
God. Yeah, did you see his camo hoodies he was wearing? The whole staff was wearing them last night.
It was it was a cool non-official uniform.
Yep, I really thought he looked handsome last night. I just wanted to comment on that, and then a
Short
second
King
comment.
Dusty May, we love him.
Yep, the 8 minutes of the game I watched in the second half last night, I caught Yaxel going freaking coast to coast doing a spin move and one, finishing at the rim. That was like, oh, this guy's special. I hadn't seen that yet because I haven't invested the time in Michigan hoops yet. But that was a special play. So that's what I wanted to say about in relation to hoops.
Hey, for those that don't know, Chris, what's an and one?
An and one is when you get fouled in the act of shooting the basketball, you make the shot, and you get to take one free throw for all of those who are unfamiliar with the young people's terminology.
Great description. Chris, can you break down for us the exact characteristics of Dusty May that you enjoyed the most?
I didn't know he was chiseled like that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Are you talking about his facial features?
No.
The pechugas. The pechugas.
Dude, you could wash laundry on that man.
Oh my gosh. All right, we are way off topic.
Beautiful man.
He's a great guy, great coach. Thanks, Mita, for the basketball update. Love to hear it. We'll talk more about this. Really excited to hear about the Vegas tourney coming up soon. Hopefully get some good results. Obviously, go blue. Let's finish this up. I want to do a round robin between us four. Let's talk Maryland prediction. Since Chris is so high on Michigan football today, why don't you get us started? And we'll go around. We'll do Chris, Mita, Kyle, myself.
Yes. Parting words. First, I think we absolutely dominate them and play old school Michigan football. It's not going to be close. We're not going to turn the ball over. It'll be 28-7 Michigan in the end. Kind of a boring game, but it'll be very clean game is what I anticipate. And we will be having a Ohio State special next week in preparation for the game. There's chirpings of a guest speaker. I don't know who, but we will. There's chirpings about it. For our podcast next week, and we just let's not look forward. Let's go do our job. Let's go win. Let's get ready for the big game.
Love to hear it. You have a score prediction for us?
28-7 Michigan.
All right, that's positive. That's a victory. Mita, what about you?
All right. I'm trying to pull up the highest amount we've scored this year. Here we go.
Well, while you're looking at that, I don't want to forget about Michigan hockey playing Ohio State this weekend. It's a big match in Ann Arbor. We're number 2 in the country. So fun to watch as a little prequel to next weekend.
Good call. Love to watch some Michigan hockey against Ohio State. That'll be fun.
All right. Our highest score so far has been 34 against New Mexico. I'm gonna bet that we beat that.
Okay.
We're gonna put up 35 against Maryland. We are gonna run the ball a little bit to get our backup some touches, but I think we're gonna pass it, and I think we're gonna pass it well. I don't think we're gonna turn it over like we did last week. I think we're gonna win 35-. I'll give Maryland a touchdown and a field goal. I'll give them 10 points. So I got Michigan 35-10, winning big, going into Ohio State with some confidence.
Love it. Very positive. Kyle, what do you think?
Okay. Maryland 4-6 on the year, 1-6 in the Big Ten. Their only win at Wisconsin, 27-10. Not a bad win. Pretty good. Mike Loxley just got extended. They're giving him the gold star for next year. Malik Washington is a true freshman, kind of like Bryce Underwood, 6'5", 235. But he throws the worst interception rate in the Big Ten. Wide receiver number 1, Shalik Knotts is someone to look out for. I think it's going to be a tight game. Michigan 28, Maryland 25. We get some interceptions. They don't have a good running attack, but again, they throw a lot of interceptions. They don't have a good passing defense. They have a better run defense, so that might stymie what would be our usual strategy of just pounding the rock. It might just be more advantageous to do more throwing.
Dang, that's a really close prediction, Kyle. I think you're right in terms of the number. I think you're close to number of points scored. Listen, Maryland scores a lot of points. I was looking at this before. Maryland, Yeah, Towson. Okay, whatever. Towson still 44, 27 against Wisconsin, 20 against Washington, 31 against Nebraska. They scored 10 against Indiana. It's one of the best defenses in the country. So
that's Indiana.
They score points. So
They're not bad.
I do think Maryland's going to score some points. I think they're going to be probably somewhere around 14, maybe I'll say 17 points for the game. I do think they're going to score some. And I don't know what's happened to our group. Our group is so Michigan positive. I love it. We, for some reason, we think every game we're scoring like 5 TDs, which just doesn't happen.
It doesn't, but I like the optimism.
Yeah, I love it. Keep you guys stay on that train. I think we're closer to that. Let's say 3 to 4 touchdown range. I think we're somewhere. You guys called it like 28. We're probably around 28 points for Michigan. So I'd say 28-17. I feel like it's going to be a little closer than you guys are saying. Maybe not as close as Kyle, but this will be a good game. I think we're going to get our confidence back up after the end against Northwestern. And man, guys, can we just comment for a second how positive of a position we're in right now, how good it feels to be a Michigan Wolverine. We had some not fun losses early on in the season against USC Oklahoma, thinking like, okay, man, is this the end? Is Bryce not going to turn out to be Bryce? But we are in an amazing spot. We control our destiny. So I cannot wait to have this same conversation next week. We are going to be amped up talking about Ohio State. What else can I say? Love you guys. Go Blue. Hail to the victors. And we'll talk next week.
Love you all. Hail.
The Blue.
Go Blue.
Hail.